What's up, angels? It's the West Coast Bells, and we are back today. This time, what we're going to do is we want to announce, we're, we're here to announce that Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee,
No, he's
has,
not the presumptive nominee. He's the nominee. He's running for president. But go ahead.
well, he's presumptive until they formally accept the Democratic nomination during the the convention that's going to be held virtually next week, the Democratic Party convention. So until then, he is presumptive. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, sis, got it. I got it. School me then.
but he has selected Kamala Harris as his running mate. So she is the presumptive vice presidential um, nominee for or she's the presumptive nominee for vice president of the United States of America. So, congratulations to Kamala Harris. And what happened is just for months, they've been researching and going over records and looking into people and conducting interviews and
They've been vetting her.
yeah, and they presented the former Vice President Joe Biden with a list of finalists to consider, and he announced today that she is his choice.
Can I
So
jump in here real quick?
let's do it.
Okay, good. First things first, they knew that they needed to appeal to the black vote. We haven't required much, so basically, they just want to make sure that they can get us by putting in the blackest candidate that they can put in there. I'll put it like that. Um, Obviously, she's a woman of color. Anybody can see that she's a woman of color. Um, but I hate to get into the conversation of how black is she. So I won't get
She's
into the how black
Jamaican.
is she.
She's half Jamaican and half Indian. So
Yes,
she's
she
a woman of
is.
color.
She is a woman of color. She is a woman of color. But she's, like you said, half Indian or Southeast Asian and half
West Indian.
Jamaican.
Hmm.
Yes. And the reason that what do you think the reason is that she would have won or um, basically gotten the nod over a person like Stacey Abrams?
Well, she has a really impressive resume, and I'm sure that Stacey Abrams does too. But she was the Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017. She's fought for anti-truancy, for law enforcement accountability, and LGBTQ rights. So she's known across the world for some great things, even criminal justice reform. So I just, you have to be in tune with those issues in
Yes.
order to be a candidate for anything in this day and age.
But you
So,
also need to be in tune as a voter with her voting record and how she has performed in her state as a politician. Now, I'm not here to tell anybody how to vote. Excuse me. So you have to do your own research. I'm just, here to basically break down the reason they chose her over other candidates. So we can rule out the white ladies pretty much because they don't feel like they would have appealed to the black vote enough or energized that black vote to get them out or to the polls. Excuse me. And they only had a few different people, prospects, so to speak, that they could have chosen from as far as black, and they want to get the female vote too. So the person that appeals more widely across different genres would be Kamala. Excuse me. But what people need to understand that this is purely strategic. It's purely strategic. It's intentional. it's deliberate, and it's obvious.
Well, for the past few years, it has been now, and just personally, I'm afraid of the world, and how Trump got elected, so I'm really afraid of the world and whether or not they will put a woman of color in that position before they put a white woman in that high of an office. So I'm not saying that it can't happen, and I'm going to do my part to make sure that it does. But whew, this is a cold world, y'all.
I know. But this is the thing, you have to think about how the current president got elected. He got elected by a lot of anti-black and anti-establishment people. So while it does have a lot of racist undertone to me, it also has anti-establishment.
Oh, and they said he cheated. Something happened with some of the polls. He had I want to say, was it the Russians? He had Russia.
I ain't a girl. Don't make me get off this thing. I'll leave this chat real fast. Don't do that with me. No, you don't.
He had
No,
some
you don't.
interfere.
Don't you?
It was said.
Didn't we talk about this before we got on this thing? You're not gonna have me wrapped up in nothing, okay?
I told you I didn't want to do this video.
No, I'm serious. Don't you say their names again.
I told you I didn't want to do this video.
So we're not gonna do that. But listen, yeah, they chose her specifically to get the female vote, that is, the white woman, and the African American vote as well. And here's the thing, the difference between her and Stacey Abrams is this. When they look at Kamala, they can see her more in a position of a leadership because, let's face it, this is America. And America not finna elect a fat black woman in no high office. And I don't mean to sound harsh, but that's what it is. I've never even seen a fat black woman in a position of leadership over a major company, except for Oprah, and that's her company. So if you can show me some, they will be few and far between, I'm sure. But that's just what it is. It's harder for any black woman to get in a position of leadership, let alone a heavy set or overweight black woman to be put in that type of position, excuse me. So when they look at Kamala, they see more of a boss, somebody who is a leader who could represent them as a country or as a people, whatever the case may be. Whereas they would be more hesitant to have a beautiful sister like Stacey Abrams represent. So that's the truth. And excuse me, they have to do something to make up for Joe Biden's faulty history and record. I can't believe what politics has become. It's always been really shady and ridiculous to me, but what it is right now, it's a farce. It's like a circus, like a complete clown show. And I don't even see why we need this government. I don't see why we as Americans can't stand up and be like, fuck them. If we paying all this money and they can't even get together and pass a bill. They spend more time arguing than we pay them to argue with each other. We pay them to argue and to get nothing done. And they get nothing done, they go on vacation, they still get paid. Recess for 3 weeks, still get paid. while everybody else out here that's paying all these taxes are likely struggling or barely making ends meet. I'm tired of the government. I'm tired of everybody. I'm tired of the American people. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, it's like we don't stand for anything, so we just fall for fucking everything. Like, when are we gonna stand up and require something? I'm not telling anybody what to require. I'm saying, when are we gonna actually ask for something and hold the people accountable that make the promises to us? When are we gonna do that? When does that happen? Are we supposed to just keep voting for these people and just because of what they say, and then when they don't do what they said they're gonna do, we just keep voting for them anyway, just for the sake of not losing to the other person? I don't really give a shit who's the president. I still got to go to work. I'll put it like this: I never did care who was the president. For real.
Right, right.
I never cared who was the president until Donald Trump became the president. And the main reason I don't like him is because he's an asshole. And on top of being an asshole,
Woo.
He does not speak well publicly.
So bad.
Listen to me. He's not very good at public speaking.
Oh,
But what does he always want to do? He want to speak in public. Like, if he would just be quiet, he would actually be a better president. But because he talks so much, he always sticks his foot in his mouth and make everybody look like a damn fool.
Yeah.
Just shut up and do this ill shit that every other president be doing anyway, and don't nobody know about it. The only reason we don't know about it because they don't talk as much as this stupid ass president.
Yeah, everybody has a boss. But what it is he's going against the bosses. He's just doing whatever he wants to do.
You're not reading any of the comments. We have comments.
Oh my goodness, you know what? I forgot to make it public so that the comments would appear.
Okay, so I have Dewana. She said, who we voting for? I'm not even going to talk about my vote because I'm not here to sway the vote. I just want to talk about the candidates and what they have offered us. Dewana said it's supposed to be for the American people, right? But it's not for the American people. It's for the 1%. You know, that's what the government is for. She started laughing. She
Madrid
said, yeah, 45 sucks ass.
Madrid said, beige. That's because she black like this. In the words of Funky Dineva, she black like this and not like this. Okay?
Right. Shout out, Funky Dineva.
Yes, it's one of our favorites.
Yes, yes. The one thing that I did like about Kamala is that when she was debating Joe Biden, she was letting him have it, and she did snatch him all the way together and actually won that debate. She performed better than he did, and that lets me know that as the vice president, she's probably not going to just go with anything. And I do like that.
Are we twins? Yes.
Yes, we are twins. We're identical twins.
That's what this means. Yes.
Yes. But you know, the Democratic Party, they did not do their due diligence with taking care of the party this election season. They did not. That's exactly what they didn't do. They didn't take care of what they needed to take care of. They waited till the last minute and then had shit to choose from and just put anybody up there. So that's okay. They will. I say, if that's who you're going to vote for, just make sure you hold your candidates accountable after they're in office, and don't just be like, okay, well, we voted for them. Now let's see what they do. Secondly, make sure you vote in the.
Brown says, I just want to say I'm happy that it's a woman, but we still don't have a black woman. She is Indian and Jamaican, and we tried to subtly bring that up too. You know,
right?
So she's a woman of color.
Right.
But not
and this is one of our brothers, actually. That's one of our elk brothers, Roderick Douglas Brown. How are you, brother? Thank you for chiming in. We appreciate the comment. She isn't, black as far as showing up as we show up as black women in the world. However, she did experience or have a lot of Black experiences as a child growing up, um, in a segregated society. So she wasn't blended in with the white people, that's for sure. That's when they had that a dab will do a thing going, and she definitely had a dab, and she definitely was grouped, you know, into the Black community. But what I'm saying is, you also have to vote in your local elections. You have to vote for your local legislation. This is who helps the president when he's in office. This is who helps the bills get passed. We need a full team, just
Yeah,
like the Senate and the House was fully Republican for the first 2 years. If the Democrats had it the same way, they would pass a lot more. And that's all I'm saying. If that's your team, make sure you support your team fully, not just every four
yeah, not
years
just in
in
the
the
general.
national election. You need to vote for your local legislation. You need to vote for your local
Legislature.
legislation.
Yes,
Okay. And like I said, it's never mattered to me who the president was. I still have to go to work. And regardless, I'm still going to be successful.
yes,
This is just my cards. This is my hand, the hand that I was dealt and the hand that I'm creating for myself. I'm going to be successful anyway. But it's a lot of people that don't have the same tools and didn't grow up the way that
right,
I did,
right.
that can't, make that same. Well, they can if they want to and really think about it, but it takes more, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that I'm somewhat privileged as well, even being a Black woman. So, that being said, I appreciate all the comments, and I just love to hear what everybody else has to say. I hope that you guys will participate in the discussion. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what do you think about it? Give me some more of your perspective. What do you think about Joe Biden? Tell me that.
I when it comes to my perspective, I really just keep it on a
Let me ask you a more specific question. How do
mhm.
you feel about how he handled Anita Hill in her sexual harassment trial
I don't know how
in the
he handled
80s?
Anita Hill in her sexual harassment trial.
Okay, that might be something you may want to look into because
Well,
he
you
was
brought up
in he was in the Senate at that time, and he handled that trial. You know how they do the confirmations for all of the other Supreme Court judges.
mhm.
During the confirmation for the Supreme Court Judge Clarence Thomas, she was interviewed heavily and prosecuted heavily. Went on trial basically for sexual harassment claims or harassment, so they say. And because this was one of the first cases of this kind, she was literally just dogged out and treated horrible,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, we didn't have any other way to gauge, a case like this. No one did, so my question would be, how do I know it was hard back then, but how do we feel about how she was treated? Like, first of all, I believe every word she said. I
Well,
believe that it
like
was.
Ms. Brown says, we have to make sure our Black organizations get their ass out and support our Black community on the real and not just be talking. And yes,
That's right. That's right. And we, as like we all belong to a fraternal organization, brother. And we do have to hold our leaders accountable as well, because there's a lot that's not being done, even though we, do pay our dues. There's a lot that's not being done that used to be done, which is what made these organizations popular in the first place. So I mean, and that doesn't just go for fraternal organizations. The organizations that are supposed to represent the Black community should be showing up. We should
okay,
be
so
showing
let's
up.
catch up on the
So
comments. So Madrid says things were different back then. time changes people and things change people, and that's absolutely right. Dewana Nichols says, and that's our daughter. She says, "What
That's
was her name?"
another daughter.
Her name was Anita Hill, and Madrid says he's
I
been.
said Anita Hill.
She says he's been in the White House all 8 years, and Danielle also said that that video is a shit show of Biden. Evolution is slow with men in rape culture, and she's absolutely right.
This is true. But
Yes.
do they automatically get a pass for that?
Well, I think you have to give a pass. I mean, for ignorance. I mean, ignorance is
Do
bliss.
we? Do we have to give a pass for ignorance?
Yeah, if a person changes, because it means that they were willing to learn. They were.
Okay, yeah. Now here's what he did do. He did apologize. He did recognize that he handled it wrong. I like that.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also feel that he said those things at the time that he said it, because we had never taken him to task on it in
Hmm.
previous years.
Right.
And also, it didn't come up until he started running for president again.
President. Exactly. Like
Well,
whatever.
actually, it came up when that movie came out about Anita Hill. You didn't see it, huh?
As long as he's not on video talking about grabbing people by the pussy and all of that, I'm just, I'm just
Okay, I can see
okay.
that.
I'm sick of it. Okay.
I can see that. I can see that.
Look, that
So
just said no, you don't. But Trump grabbing P, really? I look exactly.
yes,
Seriously.
I get it. I
Oh
see
my
it.
God,
I can see
not
that.
the pussy grabbing.
And I'm just giving. I'm just coming at this from all perspectives. We need to make sure that he is properly prepared to go into this race. And these are questions that he is going to face on the campaign trail every single day. So hopefully, if this video gets in circulation enough, he'll hear what we're talking about and be able to address some of these things at the table. And we do want to know why the Black community is disproportionately affected by certain things and what you plan to do with that when it comes to building family wealth and generational wealth, and also why health issues affect the Black people disproportionately, and also why there's a financial gap. Why is there a housing gap? I mean, if systemic racism
Right.
does not exist, then why do these other things exist that coincide with systemic racism? That's what I want to know. That's my question now. How do we plan to address this? How do we plan to address this? We have to start holding these leaders accountable. If we're going to vote for them, we have to give them a team to work with and let them know what the fuck we want and make them give it to us. Understand what I said. And if y'all want me to go say that on the Congress floor and go to jail for y'all, I will one time, as long as somebody come get me, because I can't stand no jail. If
Well,
somebody come get me.
there's a wealth of information on the internet about Kamala Harris and all of the things
Yes.
that she's done since she's been in office, even some things before she was in office. So,
I'm going to go ahead and paste her voting record for the past 2 years with um, the majority of issues that have come in the chat. Um, it just goes back to 2019. It looks like there are a lot of things that she did not actually vote on or take a stand on, but it's pasted in there for everybody to look at and see themselves.
nobody
You
else.
know, you should do your own research.
Throw it in the trash.
You should do your own research. Research your candidate fully. Figure out what you need from that candidate, and make sure that you ask for it. And when they, make these promises and they let us know that this is what they're going to do, we need to hold them accountable. And if they don't, if we can't hold them accountable and they actually make change, then we need to stop voting for these motherfuckers. I'm tired of it.
Danelle said, "Amen, twin." Grabber made it so Biden will be vilified, but not necessarily in ruins, because people are very used to seeing women thrown under the bus. So,
Oh, listen, look at what Mimi said. Mimi Hall
wait a
said,
minute before you go there, that is true. This is a culture where people are used to seeing women thrown under the bus. So he'll be
okay,
easily forgiven for anything that he's done, especially against a Black woman.
okay, that's true. That's true. I could definitely see that. Well, this is the thing. he is going to be vilified, and he's going to be held to a higher standard because the people that voted for Donald Trump don't care. They don't really care about that. They've obviously shown that they don't care about it, and that's just it. He
But
will
look at
be ruined within his party. The people of his party will bring this up more than anybody else, like they already did, to try to ruin him because the other person or other candidate's party doesn't even care about that. They already proved it. So yeah, let's move on to Mimi's comment.
he keeping our
And
he
I
keeping
agree
our
with
black
Danielle
men there.
completely.
Look, he's keeping our black men in prison longer, and she put innocent. Babe, put it in the trash. And she put innocent men in prison and kept them there. It doesn't matter until it's your brother, son, or cousin. Not my vote.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot to unpack with that statement, which I agree with somewhat. The vote that he made, or the crime bill that he supported years back, it did end up affecting our brothers and our people more adversely than other cultures or other people. And so, yes, a lot of people have suffered behind that. But again, he has also recognized the error of that way too, and is trying to, from my understanding, fix that. Kamala has done the same thing in California with certain bills that she has supported that has negatively affected our brothers and gotten them locked up or kept them locked up, or kept them in the system longer than they should be or unnecessarily in the first place. So that's why I said you have to explore a person's voting record. But this is the thing about it.
Hold on.
Donald Trump over them.
I think that Danielle's comment goes really well with that. She said that she is weird and pretty, or she is weird and pretty problematic. But yes, this is a full-on lesser of evils against this clown.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the choice.
do you accept? For me, the things that bother me about our current president, it's just a lot more than what bothers me about Donald Trump. I'm not saying Donald Trump and Kamala are perfect. Absolutely not. I do feel like the Democratic Party could have done better had they started earlier. They should have started 4 years ago when this motherfucker got elected, but they didn't.
Right. And
They
Roger
didn't.
Douglas Brown said, I would just like to see an African American become or get the top job one day. And we all would. We all
Right.
would. That's
One that's dark, one that's black like this. Okay.
and yes,
You
yes.
know, and I appreciate Barack Obama and what he was, but he got elected because he was not 2 shades darker. If he was 2 shades darker, he would have never gotten elected to office.
I knew
You
that
can
this was
believe
going to
that.
come up, though. I knew that this was going to come up. What about
Yes.
how Joe Biden said if a black man votes for Trump, he is not black? Well, what he said was if you don't vote for me, you're not black. But
Right.
same thing.
Okay, so he's stupid too. This
He's
is what I'm
stupid.
saying.
He's stupid for saying
And,
that.
and he should have been more prepared, especially having spent 8 years in a vice presidential position in this country. But because we have not required anything from him, the only thing he thinks he needs to do is be the Democratic nominee. And if he's the Democratic nominee, he feels like he automatically has the African American vote. Now, historically, for in recent times, that has been true. It has been true. So this is a monster that we created, basically.
Yes.
And a lot of us are going to try to put him in office.
I mean, and I guess you can't take a person's blackness away because of who they vote for. Well, Lord, you sure would love to. I sure
Well,
would love
I'd
to.
love to snatch a couple people black card, but guess what? Look, she said, if it's light, it's all right. That's right. That's the American way. America is not ready for the help to come into the top office, period. And that's what you can understand.
Right. Why does it always have to be a mixed person?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Mimi
Right.
says also Obama shouldn't have asked Bernie to step down. a second time, So
Right. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But it is what it is, and I hate to say that that's one of the worst terms for me. I feel like it lacks intelligence, but sometimes it really does describe the situation. I feel like we can get more from our candidate than we can from someone else's candidate, and we just have to hold their feet to the fire, get in the game, and stay in the game. That's the thing about it. You got these
we
people that are lukewarm.
we
People
have
are
some
lukewarm.
we have some good comments. Okay, so Danielle says Biden is way more seasoned, but he think he got Laurie's. He better go shake it back somewhere silently. And
Right.
that's right, right. But look, Z Robert said, "Can y'all please leave the Democratic plantation? You know the Democratic Party is the racist party. Check out their history."
Yes,
The,
we do know the history of the Democratic Party as it pertains to Jim Crow and basically
yes,
keeping the South segregated. We do understand that. However,
that's history.
that's a part of history. That's a
Yes,
very small
yes,
part of history. You have to understand that there are other issues that go with that I care about. Like I do care about Roe versus Wade, and I do care about Brown versus the Board of
Board of
Education.
Education.
And yes, and T Spotwood T Bowling versus the Board of Education, which actually started before Brown versus the Board of Education. It started a year prior, and they were decided. Both cases were decided on the same day to desegregate schools. So yes, I do understand exactly what the history of the Democratic Party is, but people get it twisted in thinking that there's not blood on both sides. And when you weigh all of what you have, there is more blood on one side at this point. And at this point, I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to sway the vote. I'll let you guys do that. But you have to study the history of both sides and everything that comes along with it. I know
Yes.
all the history, and it's
And
too much
Danielle,
for this
look,
conversation.
right. And Danielle said he swiped that black card to a no, which is a cancel, it's cancel Joe. And she said, Kamala can't give you Uncle Joe cool again. So please don't anger people. That, but we aren't in that age and stage, and that's true. I mean, it is just a different time, and the things have changed. So, and what else? She said, "Ty, I love you. Please, for women and blacks, preach." Yes,
No, seriously. Like this is the thing about it. Yes, the Black Party did start out as the Republican Party because we were the party of Lincoln, but a lot has changed since then. Even Lincoln himself was a racist and did not believe that black people were equal. So no matter what bill he signed, or what came out of that particular confrontation within America, the times still stayed the same. They still stayed the same. And yes, there was generational wealth being built at the time. Yes, there was. We were owning land. We were doing very well after the Civil War and basically stepping up and doing what we were supposed to do. But the decline did not come with just the Democratic Party. It came with a lot of things and a lot of votes on the
yeah,
Republican half and the GOP. So let's just talk about all the history if we're going to talk about it. People always pull the Jim Crow card just because the Democratic Party fucked up right there. I get that. I get that. But the people that were a part of the Democratic Party then are a part of the Republican Party now. That's what
yeah.
everybody
But
needs
look,
to understand.
but we've gone really far into this discussion when it was just
Oh,
a
I'm not.
announcement about running mate for Joe Biden, which he has chosen Kamala Harris. And congratulations to the both of them. We will be front row seats at their virtual accepting of the Democratic nomination at the
Right.
Democratic National Convention next week. The virtual.
Right. Let's everybody listen. Let's do more researching instead of trying to make people think and believe the way that we do. I'm not here to convince you guys to think the way that I do. I just want everybody to do their own research and make
Right.
an educated decision. An educated decision. Because a decision without intelligence, shit, we all do. Come on. Okay, everybody got the right to vote, and that is messed up. But yes, y'all don't want to get me started because I'm ready to make everybody take a test for the right to damn vote. I know that ain't right. I
You
know.
say yes, boo. I love history now for no reason, and I love your smart, concise mind. Oh,
Oh, thank you.
you say y'all naturally go wherever, anywhere the conversation goes. Boo, I'm thinking, educate me, Queen. Yes, honey, you got that here. You can get
No,
any.
everybody in here got their stuff together. I'm like, take us to task, okay? Y'all gonna make us pull it out today.
Right, right. But this was a really great conversation, and thank you everybody for sticking with us throughout. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for your bells.
Please hit the bell for your bells.
Please hit the bell for your bells.